Christine Regan Lake here, hope all is well. So today, again, we are covering the 18 schemas humanity struggles with. Today, we are going to talk about the punitive schema. So what is the punitive schema? The punitive schema is for people who struggle with intense feelings of like righteous judgment towards others or themselves when someone makes a mistake. So someone with the punitive schema feels that it's kind of that like old world fire and brimstone from, like an angry God kind of feeling that like if someone makes a mistake, they deserve like harsh and swift punishment. The challenge with someone with a punitive schema is that this person is completely disconnected from their ability to have empathy and compassion for someone else. Someone with a punitive schema lacks the ability to be able to objectively look at the variables and the intangible aspects to what may have caused something to happen and be able to be forgiving in any way, shape, or form. That it's a very kind of harsh, judgmental view and output towards anybody, total intolerance, total inability to try to perceive or understand where the person was coming from, an inability to have any kind of, understanding of where that person might have been coming from and how someone could have honestly made a mistake, whatever. That if you messed up, there must have been harsh intention and things like that. This typically comes from a childhood in which one or both parents were extremely punitive themselves, very harsh, very judgmental, very angry, very hostile, and their way of dealing with anything, was mass punishment. One of the challenging aspects to this schema, one of the pitfalls that people who struggle with this can deal with is that they may turn to self-harm. These may be people who cut themselves, burn themselves, they turn all of that anger inwards on themselves, and they beat themselves up, they berate themselves. So how does someone overcome a punitive schema? Well, honestly, as all of these schemas we've talked about before, it's about going back to your childhood and looking at those wounds and understanding, looking at those exact experiences where your parents were incredibly harsh and judgmental and punitive and punishing on you, and looking to see how irrational it was, to understand logically that it was an overreaction, that it is not a healthy organic reaction to deal with life. It doesn't serve them. It doesn't serve your relationships. But you also have to learn to forgive, right? So you have to learn how to forgive yourself and how to forgive others for not being perfect. Everyone messes up, even with the purest intentions, the highest integrity, and, someone who's truly works in every scenario to do the best that they can. People make mistakes. Things get messed up. It just happens. It's irrational to think that they're not going to happen. But to live in a pattern, an emotional pattern where when something goes wrong, you explode off the handle, you have this massive negative, blaming, harsh, judgmental, punitive, punishing energy. One, it's highly toxic for yourself, for your own body, but it's also incredibly repulsive to other people. Nobody wants to be around someone with that kind of like negative, harsh, jagged, judgmental energy. This kind of schema is going to ultimately push people away from you and make you feel isolated. And it's just not going to create an emotional state and emotional environment in which you have a joyful, loving, open, playful, enjoyable life. It just isn't. So it's really it's really about getting a handle on learning how to forgive people, but it's also about getting in touch with your emotional body and learning how to be compassionate and empathetic for other people. And that compassion first has to start with yourself. the next time if you find that you are someone who struggles with the punitive schema, and the next time you screw up and you find yourself immediately going to like berating yourself and self-punishment and things like that, stop and take a deep breath and witness what you're doing and make a conscious choice to choose anew, to choose a different path. Choose to have compassion for yourself for doing the best you could in that moment with what you had. And, the more that you can cultivate compassion within yourself, then you will slowly be able to learn and extend that compassion to other people. So the key things that you need to heal for a punitive, punishing schema is forgiveness and compassion. They are the two most important vibrational states, emotional states, that you must learn to cultivate, to strengthen within yourself, to be able to release this punitive, punishing schema from your life, which is really contaminating you. It's contaminating your body. It's contaminating your relationships. It's highly dysfunctional, and it's just not serving you. So every day, try to find different ways to connect with your emotional body, learn to be more compassionate, learn to be forgiving. And you have to start small. Someone cuts you off in traffic, and your first response might be to curse or, give them the finger or something like that. Take a deep breath and be like, you know what? I've been an idiot too when I've been driving. I make, bonehead moves too. And try to start understanding and try not assuming that everybody's an idiot or an asshole, that everybody isn't trying to like make your life miserable. Learn to look at other people through the lens of compassion and empathy and understanding, rather than from that old dysfunctional lens of harsh judgment, punishing, punitive. It doesn't serve you, and it's definitely toxic, and it's contaminating your life and your relationships. So I hope you found value in that. If that has helped you in any way, that makes me so happy. I hope you have a beautiful day, and I look forward to speaking with you again soon. Thanks. Bye.